So why Twitter? A couple of reasons. One, needed to find a control group, right? I needed to find a group of students that wasn't using the technology, so I could randomly assign some of them to a group using that technology and some of them to a control group, right? So that's kind of the way we, estimate or get to causality from a scientific perspective. The other reason was that although Twitter adoption, Twitter penetration in the overall population is not that of Facebook, faculty have been much more interested in integrating Twitter into their courses than they have been interested in integrating Facebook. And, for some of the obvious reasons, creepy treehouse and, getting up in their sauce. And then also, Facebook is so much, right? Last weekend's parties, all the kinds of drama that happens on student Facebook profiles. So this first study, I'm going to talk about two studies. The first study was our tightly controlled study. And what we did, we had two questions. Does encouraging student use of Twitter in educationally relevant activities have an effect on student engagement? And does encouraging student use of Twitter in educationally relevant activities have an effect on first semester grades? I'll tell you what I thought before we started the study. I thought engagement, I don't know. Hopefully we measured it well with the engagement instrument. And then before the study, and actually during the study, will it have an effect on grades? I thought absolutely not. And that has more to do with statistics and methodology and what I thought was restriction of range in grades, right? That it just couldn't be. All right, so conducted the study in a number of sections of first-year seminars for pre-health professionals. These are courses that are designed to help students transition from high school into college, into their major. They're designed to be someone engaging and encourage engagement. So perfect choice, right? The other thing is that our courses only met 1 hour a week, right, for the entire semester. And so we wanted some way to kind of extend time on task. So we had 7 sections of that first year seminar. We randomly assigned 4 to the group using Twitter and randomly assigned 3 to the control group. And the control group used Ning. Why did we choose Ning? Well, we did that because when we wanted it to be as tightly controlled as possible. So we wanted to make sure that our control group was receiving the exact same information, encouragement, etc., that the Twitter group was, right? And we wanted to use a digital platform. And, the year before and the semester before, they used Ning in this class, so we thought, why not continue using Ning? We wanted to keep it as equal as possible, right? Because it really wouldn't be fair if we, with the Twitter group said, okay, you're doing this on Twitter, and then the control group, we, kind of did nothing with them, right? So maybe just the act of doing the activity. So we wanted to kind of parse out the variance that was to doing things that we had them do on Twitter. Here's what the experimental design looked like. At the very beginning of the semester, we had the control group and the experimental group, now I'm blind, take the engagement instrument. The control group used Ning. The experimental group used Twitter. And then at the very end, we had them both take the engagement instrument, and we collected their actual semester grades from the registrar. So we were looking at semester grades. Then, let me tell you about how we use Twitter in the classroom. We set up one Twitter account, and we had all students follow that account, which was the class account, and we had them follow each other. So in their feed was everything. And this is what we did. We used it for continuity for class discussions, so to increase time on task, important variable in content mastery. We used it as a low-stress way to ask questions. In my research very early on, I noticed that if students connect with you, more introverted students, connect with you online, and mostly when I was doing this work was on instant messaging, remember that stuff? if they did that, they were more likely to be a little more extroverted in class. So sometimes, might be the getting over the fear of asking questions, and, kind of knowing that you're an okay person to bounce questions off of. So we used it for that. We used it to discuss a common reading, and there were a couple of required assignments, just a couple, where they had to tweet about reading the Mountains Beyond Mountains book by Tracy Kidder, which talks about Dr. Paul Farmer's medical relief work in Haiti. How many of you have read that book? Okay. And then the semester after, the Haiti earthquakes happened, and students, although the class was over and we weren't, as engaged, they did do a lot of, chatting about Haiti and how, kind of that fit into what Dr. Paul Farmer was doing and stuff like that. We sent out class reminders. One of the neat things about this cohort of students was that they took a lot of the same classes together because they were pre-health professional majors. They were going into pre-med, pre-dental, those kinds of things. And so we could send them reminders like, hey, don't forget, you got your first chemistry exam coming up, which led to some interesting things, including formation of study groups. We sent them campus and event reminders. We used Social Oomph, which used to be called Tweet-a-later, and now something else is called Tweet-a-later. But I like the Tweet-a-later name much better. And so we'd send them reminders about things that were going on, just co-curricular activities. We encouraged them to connect with each other and with us, and to organize their service learning project. I'm going to break something there. And to organize study groups. I thought that part of it was really cool. Like if a student would say, oh my God, I'm really concerned about the chemistry exam coming up. We'd do a little kind of prodding and pushing. Hey, how about study group? And a number of students created a study group that continued throughout the semester because of Twitter. And then they'd announce it on Twitter, hey, we got a study group, come meet us. They were on the second floor of the library by the green couches. The study was conducted at a campus I'm not very familiar with, and I just know they were at those green couches, but I've never seen the green couches. The other thing that I think is worth noting was that students really pulled us in on the Twitter feed, right? We really didn't have an idea about how active we would be. The difference between Twitter and Ning was substantial in that way from a qualitative perspective, that students on Twitter engaged with us more, and then we engaged with them more. It was this positive feedback loop that was just fun and interesting and did not happen on Ning. And if you're familiar with Ning, kind of the dynamics of the platform really don't lend themselves to a more kind of interactive and conversational tone like Twitter sometimes does. So here are the results. First, I'm going to share with you, these are new data that I just crunched. We had over 3,300 tweets sent. And I love data, but I am a quantitative researcher. And so this was all this qualitative data, and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do with words? Can I put a number to them? Right? Can I put a number to words? And so, I've been kind of fretting with this over a while, for some time, and, trying to get some people on my research team that are interested in qualitative. And just around the time I did that, I found out about an application that was developed by a coder and a company in Australia that does automatic content analysis. Okay? Some of you are familiar with packages that say they do automatic, but you have to kind of include like a thesaurus, your own thesaurus, into the content analyses. This is completely automatic, iterative content coding by machine. Yay! So it gives you a wonderful output. This is what it looks like. Okay? The circles are the major themes, right? In the data set. It's heat mapped, so the hotter colors, like red, were more significant or important or frequent themes. The dots are the concepts. I did not label the concepts on this image because it would just be really difficult to look at here. If you want to see the concepts, email me and I'll email you the bigger thing. But the dots are the concepts. The lines between the dots are how the concepts are connected. So you'll see that students, certainly on the surface, it looks like they were talking about the kinds of stuff that we wanted them to talk about, academic kinds of things. They were talking about Farmer, Paul Farmer. They were talking about people, others, care. Work table hours was working at, they did a lot of volunteer work. They worked at the harvest table. That was their service learning project. Food was a major part because of the harvest project, the food table for people, and care and people. These were all important themes, which is what you would hope for pre-health professional majors, right? People that are going to be doctors, physicians, assistants, nurses, stuff like that. So let me extract some of these themes and give you some example tweets from those themes. So Farmer, you'll see that that some of the tweets included, how does Dr. Farmer continue his work without feeling overwhelmed? It's hard enough to take college courses. We're taking stress management. And, that Farmer was compassionate, that he's a good role model for our nation. And one of the things, we like to challenge them. So one of the things we introduced, one of the questions we introduced was, some people say that what Dr. Paul Farmer was doing in Haiti was just a Band-Aid. What do you think? And it really got them thinking. I should say that the level of introspection in 140 characters was amazing. It is not what I've been teaching first-year students for over a decade now, and it is not the kind of stuff you get from them in person, and it is not the kind of stuff you get from them in reaction papers. I'm always kind of pushing reaction papers. I'm more interested in gut sometimes, and it was just amazing, the deepness they can get into. So others was also a theme. Shouldn't we stay local to help others? If you see that first tweet in the circle is the same as one of the other tweets in the Farmer circle, so you see that this application links concepts across all tweets, right? Should we, is there a basic human debt to others? Thought that was kind of great stuff. And now my favorite part, the stats. So at the beginning of the semester, tested them on the engagement survey, the engagement scale. At the end of the semester, did it again, subtracted the post-test value, post-test engagement score total from the pre-test total, and ran some statistics on that. And what did we find? What's that? Oh, you're jumping ahead.